One of the things that we're going to be watching over the next couple of days and, a week or two is assuming that Joe Biden is allowed to assume the role of president-elect. I mean, he has, but in such a way that actually he can start to do stuff for the American public, right? Like, I don't know, roll out a plan on how we're going to deal with the raging COVID infections across the country, or begin to prepare all of the executive actions. Now, we now have an increase in initial claims for jobless benefits. This is a way in which people, essentially, statisticians, measure layoffs. It rose to 742,000 people last week. That was up from 711,000 filed a week earlier. I mentioned at the top of the show, we have 12 million people who are going to be off of extended unemployment benefits on December 26. And if we're adding to the ranks of the unemployed, we are looking at eviction moratoriums ending across the country. We're looking at an economic disaster for people. We showed that clip yesterday. The cars lining up for food in Dallas, I think it was. I mean, miles, it seemed like, of cars lining up for food. And we have Mitch McConnell has just left the building, it's my understanding. There does not seem to be any appearance of an attempt to deal with any type of stimulus package, at least before their Christmas break. And what just continues to gall me, on a day after Nancy Pelosi was nominated to become the Speaker of the House again by the Democratic caucus, is the utter failure of Pelosi and Schumer to either predict or that this happening. I mean, because this is not a scenario that should be of any surprise to anybody. I mean, we talked about this, that if Joe Biden wins the election and Nancy Pelosi doesn't even take that $1.8 trillion, who knows if it was even real, but doesn't even sign off to take it, there wasn't going to be any help for the American public until at least January 22nd at best. And now, unless the Democrats take these seats in Georgia, who knows what Joe Biden's going to get from Mitch McConnell. He seems to be thinking that he's going to be able to get something. But this was predictable. And the idea that Mitch McConnell will pay no price for this, because he will not. You cannot take advantage of these type of political moments if you decide to take advantage of them 15 minutes before they happen. The value of Nancy Pelosi saying yes to Steve Mnuchin's $1.8 trillion offer, regardless of what was in it, was because it was going to force Mitch McConnell to either vote for it or against it. And if they voted for it, it would have been strife amongst Republican senators in the Republican caucus. And if they voted against it, Mitch McConnell's actions today would look that much more worse. And they're going to look that much more worse in 2 weeks and in a month and in 3 months. But the predicate has not been set. And the Republicans have gotten away for 4.5 years without having to pay any price for their relationship with Donald Trump. The only time they did is when people didn't have the opportunity to vote against Donald Trump, and so they voted against Republicans as a second-order measure. But when Trump was on the ballot, folks didn't have that need.